What do you do with death cults? The most effective way that you can empower a death cult within a country that has not already seized control of the country. Now, there are very, very important distinctions here. Right? If you've got a death cult that already has taken control of the country, and they are metastasizing, they're spreading out from that country into other countries. This is in World War II. Or prior to World War II, this is what Japan did, moving into China and into South Korea. Actually, it was all Korea back then, I think. This is, and the Philippines and whatnot. This is what happened with these two countries, Germany and Japan. Their death cults metastasized. And so in order to take them down, we had to take down the countries because the death cults were headquartered in those countries. Where is the headquarters for Salafism and Wahhabism? It's Saudi Arabia. Now, am I suggesting we take down the Saudi government? No. But we do have considerable influence over the Saudi government. And now might be a really good time for us to say, hey, can we work with you guys to become a little less rigorous in your Wahhabism and a little more secular in the way that you're dealing with people? Please let, for example, those 2 or 3 daughters of the previous King Fahd, will you let them out of jail because they just were tweeting like women should be allowed to drive? How about that blogger who's getting 50 lashes every week for the next X number of years? How about just dialing back on the amount of support you're giving Saudi Arabia to these hard right clerics and their publishing companies who are printing books that are being used in the occupied territories, that are being used in other Muslim countries that suggest, for example, that Jews take the blood of Muslim children to make matzah balls and things like that, or to make matzah. How about dialing it back? Isn't it time to have? I mean, we're ignoring the giant elephant, gorilla, I mean, you pick your lousy cliche metaphor, in the room, which is the effect and influence of Saudi Arabia in this region. And how they have been exporting this kind of fundamentalism that is now showing up in the form of ISIS and Boko Haram, and originally, from our point of view, showed up in 9/11 with what, 17 Saudis? Or was it 14 out of the, 17 out of the 19, I think, whatever it was, 14. Majority said, this is, sow the wind, reap the whirlwind. I think it might not even be a bad idea to say to the Saudi government, to say to the kingdom, even though you have the 3rd largest military in the world and we have been supporting you and sending you fortunes, we're going to stop that. We're gonna put a ban on importing Saudi oil, for example. Let them export all they want. If it's true that the Saudis are dropping the price of oil right now intentionally so that they can put the U.S. solar industry and the U.S. fracking industry out of business, well, putting the fracking industry out of business, I'm not crying any crocodile tears, but the solar industry, the wind industry, they're taking a big hit from this because they are incredibly profitable and, very desirable. They're very reasonable alternatives to oil when oil's over $80 or $90 a barrel. So Saudi Arabia is keeping it below that. Isn't it time to say to Saudi Arabia, enough? Stop supporting these Salafites. Stop supporting these Wahhabists. We've got a serious problem here that has metastasized beyond Saudi Arabia, beyond the rest of the Middle East. It's showing up in Paris, Je suis Charlie. It is showing up in Spain. It's showing up in the UK. It's showing up in the United States. It's starting to show up all around the world. And the core of this is this fundamentalist, violent, frankly, I think barbaric strain of Islam that has been promoted by Saudi Arabia since roughly the time of the American Civil War. They just never had the means to really push it hard until recently.